India is no longer just buying advanced weapons. It is becoming one of the world's fastest-growing arms exporters. During Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Indonesia, New Delhi is set to finalize one of its biggest defense export deals yet, a package that includes the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile and Astra beyond visual range air-to-air missile. The deal, reportedly worth around $630 million, would make Indonesia the third country to acquire the BrahMos after the Philippines and Vietnam. But this isn't simply another arms sale. It marks a major shift in the balance of power across the Indo-Pacific. As China expands its military presence from the South China Sea to the Indian Ocean, India is responding by exporting not just missiles, but strategic influence. The question is no longer whether India can build world-class weapons. The real question is whether India is becoming a serious defense power capable of reshaping Asia's security architecture. To understand why this deal matters, we need to look beyond the missiles themselves. The BrahMos is jointly developed by India and Russia through BrahMos Aerospace. It is widely regarded as one of the fastest operational cruise missiles in the world, capable of flying at nearly Mach 3, roughly 3 times the speed of sound. The missile can strike targets from land, sea, or air and is designed to destroy warships, military installations, and high-value targets before an enemy has much time to react. Alongside BrahMos, Indonesia is also expected to receive India's Astra beyond visual range air-to-air missile. Astra allows fighter pilots to engage enemy aircraft from well beyond visual range, significantly improving air combat capability. Because Indonesia operates Russian-built Sukhoi fighters, Astra can integrate relatively easily into its existing fleet. This agreement follows months of negotiations after Indonesia announced earlier this year that it had entered an agreement with India to procure the BrahMos system. Now, Modi's visit to Jakarta appears set to transform that understanding into one of India's largest defense export contracts to date. But the missiles are only part of a much bigger strategic story. The first major takeaway is that India wants to become a long-term security provider across Southeast Asia. Unlike a simple commercial weapons sale, this package reportedly includes operator training, maintenance support, technical assistance, logistics, infrastructure, and long-term sustainment. That means Indonesia is not simply purchasing missiles, it is entering into an extended defense partnership with India. Defense relationships tend to last decades, because militaries require continuous training, spare parts, software updates, and technical cooperation. Every BrahMos battery deployed in Indonesia strengthens military ties between New Delhi and Jakarta. This strategy fits perfectly into India's Act East policy, which seeks stronger political, economic, and military engagement with Southeast Asia. It also supports India's broader vision of a free, open, and inclusive Indo-Pacific, where no single power dominates regional security. For India, exporting weapons creates diplomatic influence alongside economic benefits. Every successful defense export increases India's credibility as an advanced military-industrial power. But there is another reason why BrahMos has suddenly become one of the world's most sought-after missiles. Weapons often become far more attractive after they prove themselves in real combat. Interest in the BrahMos increased significantly after India's conflict with Pakistan last year, when New Delhi reportedly used the missile operationally for the first time. Military planners worldwide closely study combat performance because real-world operations reveal capabilities that testing cannot fully demonstrate. For potential buyers, operational use provides greater confidence that the system performs under battlefield conditions. Indonesia now joins a growing list of countries seeking BrahMos. The Philippines has already signed a contract, Vietnam has agreed to acquire the system, and several other countries, including the United Arab Emirates, have reportedly expressed interest. This growing demand reflects a broader trend in the global defense market. Countries increasingly want long-range precision weapons that strengthen deterrence without requiring enormous defense budgets. The BrahMos offers exactly that combination. Its high speed reduces enemy reaction time, making interception extremely difficult, while providing smaller and medium-sized militaries with a credible anti-ship and land attack capability. But perhaps the most important reason behind Indonesia's purchase lies in regional geopolitics rather than military technology. Indonesia has traditionally maintained a careful balance between major powers. It seeks constructive relations with China, the United States, India, Japan, and Australia without formally aligning against any one country. However, regional security has become increasingly complicated. China continues expanding its military presence across the South China Sea, while maritime disputes remain unresolved. Although Indonesia is not officially a claimant in the main South China Sea disputes, Chinese maritime activity around Indonesia's Natuna Islands has repeatedly generated tensions. Against this backdrop, strengthening long-range strike capabilities becomes a logical defensive measure. Importantly, Indonesia is reportedly considering a phased acquisition model. Instead of purchasing a massive arsenal immediately, Jakarta would gradually expand its missile capability over time. This approach allows Indonesia to modernize its military without overwhelming defense budgets while steadily improving deterrence. For India, every new BrahMos customer strengthens a network of security partnerships stretching from the Indian Ocean to the Western Pacific. This reflects a larger geopolitical shift. India increasingly sees defense exports as an instrument of foreign policy, much like the United States, Russia, France, and China have done for decades. The implications extend well beyond India and Indonesia. For Southeast Asia, this deal strengthens regional deterrence by giving Indonesia more advanced strike capabilities without dramatically altering the regional balance overnight. It also demonstrates that ASEAN countries increasingly seek diversified defense partnerships rather than relying exclusively on one supplier. For China, India's growing defense exports introduce another layer of strategic competition across the Indo-Pacific. While Beijing remains Southeast Asia's largest trading partner, New Delhi is steadily expanding its role as a security partner. For India, the agreement represents another milestone in transforming from one of the world's largest arms importers into a significant defense exporter. Successful exports generate revenue, support domestic manufacturing, create high-skilled jobs, and fund future weapons development. For the global defense industry, BrahMos's growing popularity demonstrates that emerging defense manufacturers can now compete with long-established suppliers in Europe, Russia, and the United States. Most importantly, the deal signals that geopolitical competition in Asia is increasingly driven not only by military deployments, but also by defense industrial partnerships that create decades-long strategic relationships. The BrahMos deal proves that in today's Indo-Pacific, the countries exporting the most advanced weapons may also be shaping the region's future balance of power.